This is the Artist Entrepreneur Podcast. We are your hosts, Amanda Ritchie, Noah Dock, and me, Carrie Wee. We're three artists brought together by the love of circus and dance. Amanda from the world of Cirque du Soleil as an aerial soloist. Noah, our academic, and me from the commercial dance world. This is one of the greatest jobs in the world, but it comes with uncertainty. Each episode contains insight on how to pursue art-based businesses. We'll have a variety of guests and have lively weekly Discord. Tune in every week to hear our perspectives on the minefield that is the artist's way of life. Look at her mouth.
We're losing teeth? Are we in that age?
Yes, we are. And the other front tooth is wiggling, so she's soon going to be just toothless.
Did the tooth fairy come?
Did the tooth fairy come, Bean?
What'd you get for such a good front tooth? A $1 bill?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yep, it is.
Are they going to get more valuable as they go back, or?
Oh no. What kind of economy do you think we're in?
You don't need to know that. The tooth fairy's fucking, she does what she does. It's all that matters.
Listen, I don't know what kind of economy your tooth fairy's in.
Well, I had 17 teeth pulled as a child. So
what?
I think the tooth fairy felt bad for me, so she gave me a little extra. I think I was getting 5s at a certain point.
How many teeth did you have in your mouth?
Well, how many teeth do you have?
Does every human have the same amount of teeth? Because I'm very confused.
Yeah, how many baby teeth do kids have? 20. So I got 17 of those pulled.
Because they wouldn't fall out on their own?
That's right.
Oh, well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Another great story about Noah's childhood.
Yeah. Would you like to know how this is a good one? Of the 3 that did fall out on their own, okay? 2 of them fell out of natural causes, okay?
Okay.
However, one of them only fell out because I went on a cruise with my parents, and they had those, this was back before anybody gave a shit about safety or anything like that. They had a kids pool with water guns, and they were built into the ground, right? So they were they were piped into the ground, and they just swiveled. They were swivel guns, and they were made of.
I feel it coming.
And they were metal. They were metal fucking guns, and they didn't move very fast. But somebody was using it, and I was probably running, and they turned, and my face went into this metal water gun, and that's how I lost a tooth.
I thought you were going to say you got in a fight.
No. No fight for Noah.
I feel like boys are a little inclined for these things.
Yeah.
There's an inclination.
There's an inclination to fuck ourselves up.
Okay.
Because,
they wanted to hang on, your teeth did.
Chicks dig scars. That's what I was told as a child.
Okay.
Chicks dig scars, so
the last time I spoke to Noah, we were in person. It's so good.
That's not true.
Oh, no, there was one. That's right. We had one with okay, you're right. You're right. You have a better memory than me. Please give us the update on, have you been to a bazillion competitions?
Okay, so let me look at my calendar to remind myself where I've been.
Oh, can't even remember. That's where we're at.
Well, did I speak to you after I was in Dubai?
Yes.
Okay, so I've spoken to you since then. So since then, I went to Vegas and then Steamboat Springs, Colorado for a bachelor party. And then I went to Denver to do some real estate things. And then I went to Chicago for a competition. So I've only been to one competition since
okay, well,
speaking to you.
Okay, let's back up because what I texted, I like to call you guys my kitty cats because I have to herd cats to get you and Amanda. So when I when I texted Noah and Amanda, Noah's like, I can't. It is really, really busy. I said, okay. So me and Amanda did an episode in between.
It's true.
So Noah had time for 4 trips in 2.5 weeks. Is that accurate?
Does that include Dubai?
No, that does not include Dubai. 2.5 weeks since I've spoken to you. Then yes. Okay, let's start at the beginning. You did what first? Vegas. What was Vegas?
Vegas was on the way to the bachelor party. Okay, I travel a lot and I love traveling, and I think that our listeners know that about me. However, this past trip really kind of screwed me up a little bit. And I think it wasn't the length, it was the method of travel. I drove from LA to Vegas, spent a night in Vegas, then drove from Vegas to Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Which is how far?
That was a 9-hour drive.
Yeah, that's long. That is long.
And then I was in Steamboat for 3 days for this bachelor party, then drove to Denver, spent 2 nights in Denver, then flew to Chicago, and then flew from Chicago to LA. So my whole brain of like, how did I get here really was like not... Like when you fly, you're like, oh, I got here on the plane.
Right.
The driving and the combined with the flying and it kind of messed me up a little bit.
So you did not drive your own car, or you did drive your own car and you left it in Denver?
No. I didn't drive my own car. I drove with somebody else.
You do not love the road trip? Is this what you're saying?
I love a road trip. I think it's the flying after the road trip
that messed you up?
That was weird. Because I kept going. It wasn't like I turned around and went home after that. I continued further into the country.
So, in essence, you feel like you've left Earth and you haven't come back yet. You're Matt Damon. And you're still out there.
I'm getting closer now, but yeah, it feels like it kind of, it was a little off. But it was good. It was all good. The competition was good. Chicago, kind of, the competition was at the hotel next to the airport, so I didn't actually get to go like to Chicago, which kind of bummed me out.
Like you didn't have enough time to like leave your hotel outside of work. Like you were just at a hotel somewhere in America. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
The airport, is it close enough to the water that you can see the water?
No.
Okay. And it's frozen anyway. The frozen lake.
I was like nowhere near the like actual city, which sucked.
And were you there when New York was getting their crazy snow?
I was not. I got there right afterwards.
And did Chicago get snow?
No.
So interesting.
Chicago was dry as a bone.
Dry as a bone, which is so interesting because New York got so dumped on.
Yeah. I did meet some folks in Colorado who were visiting from New York, and I was like, well, you're not getting home anytime soon. And they were like, yeah. But yeah. And this weekend I go to New Orleans, which will be great. And
I haven't been to New Orleans since I was a teenager. And even back then, like the French Quarter felt not as like it just got vomited and peed all over.
It's better now.
Is it? Do they clean it up somehow?
They've cleaned it up.
How do you clean up concrete though? You know what I'm saying?
Power washing.
Okay.
No, I love New Orleans. I think New Orleans is a ball. And I checked already. My hotel is like 5 minutes walk from the French Quarter.
The French Quarter. Are you a big fan of gumbo and like oysters and?
I do like it. I'm not like. It's not a thing I have regularly. I will say every time I go to New Orleans, I like try a new food, like alligator or like, something like that. But what I'm actually looking forward to this time, because I haven't been in, I think it's been 10 years. maybe 8, maybe 9 years since I've been there. And one of the top 50 bars in North America is actually in New Orleans. It's called Jewel of the South, and it's about a 10-minute walk from my hotel. So I'm going to go get a drink.
Dude, that sounds great. Do you know my favorite place to go there? Cafe Du Monde.
Of course. You got to get some beignets and some hot chocolate.
Oh my God, some beignets.
Yeah, they're pretty
I think
good.
about those sugary, pillowy, hot donuts.
Yeah, I'm doing my diet again, and I'm gonna have to
break the diet for Cafe Du Monde.
I'm gonna have I'm there. I gotta have.
Yeah, I mean that's hard. That's a hard one. It's hard to travel and be on your diet. How are you pulling that off, or did you just you got back on it when you got home?
I got back on it when I got home, but it's actually not so bad. The bachelor party and that whole thing that made it hard. So, but when I have done these dance competitions, it's not so bad because there's usually like a Target or a grocery store or something nearby. And so I've just been going and getting salad kits and hard-boiled eggs and protein shakes, and that sustains me for the 48 hours that I'm there.
Yeah, it's not hard when you're not thinking, when you're not going out to dinners with friends and trying to have a good time. If you're really there to work. When I was in LA for the competition, yeah, I was grab a Greek salad somewhere and then a chicken breast randomly out of a Ralph's.
Yeah,
not that hard.
It's not hard.
Okay, so I was thinking about you because a friend of mine has a teenager in dance competition world, and she was showing me all the still shots of her kid in her hip hop number.
Yeah,
her white teenager, white. I teach with a bunch of white ladies at Lifetime Pilates. It's a very white. We'll call it a. What's the opposite of a Twinkie? There's a lot of white and there's a little yellow. It's me.
What's the opposite?
Because a Twinkie's the bread on the yellow on the outside, and then a little white on the inside.
It's like a snowball, but those snowballs are pink.
I know. I'm trying to figure it out, but there's no. Anyways. There's a lot of them, and there's a little of me. Anyways, so her daughter's making every single face, every single picture of her daughter. And I can't even explain to you, there's 20 of them. And in every single picture, she is so committed. Such a committed look on her face.
Yeah.
And I was damn.
It's great, but oh God, when they're all making different faces, or some of them are singing along.
Yeah.
Or it just doesn't look good. And
well, because you have some judges and some choreographers saying, "Give me more. Give me some face.
give me less." I'm gonna be the judge that says, "Give me less."
I'm here for it.
I'm gonna be calm down, relax. Just close your mouth. Close your mouth. Stop trying to catch flies. Stop singing along.
So also a really exciting interview coming up, potentially after this one or the next one, is Kitty McNamee. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No idea.
Kitty McNamee. She was the person that, if you ask me, birthed Ryan Heffington, Nina McNeely, Dina Thompson. She was the teacher above them. And all those three, which you guys in the show notes for that episode, I put links to all these choreographers so you could see what their work is. And you probably have seen the work, you just didn't know the person behind it. So she was, when I was training at the Edge back in 2000-ish land, all of those choreographers who are now big were in my generation, and we were all at the Edge taking class together, and Kitty McNamee was in the generation of Terry Beeman and all those teachers. I could list them, Adam Parsons. I could list them all, but it would take me too long. And I just interviewed her a couple days ago because she's created this platform on Dance Camera West for dance films.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I just interviewed her. She's going to be on this feed, but that's coming. So that was exciting for us. We talked about Terry Beeman, of course, the king. And what else? So Noah, now that you're back in town, is life feeling great at this speed? Is this your speed that we're at? Does it feel perfect for you? What's this face he's giving? Oh my God, there's a lot of facial expressions happening. He can't figure it out. What's his face doing, you guys?
It's a hard question. I was gonna make a topic recommendation for today because it's something that I feel like I'm going through.
Which is greener grass at every moment of your life?
It's not actually greener grass, it's purpose.
Okay. I'm here for it.
I know I've very briefly discussed mental health on this podcast. I don't think we're gonna go into it quite that much right now, but I do. I think that the thing that I'm struggling with and have felt like I have struggled with is purpose and feeling a sense of purpose in what I'm doing. And how that feeds into mental health and depression and all those things that I'm gonna try and leave that aside and just have a sort of intellectual conversation about purpose. But what I was recently asked, I'm going through this journal and it asks you a bunch of questions, and one of the questions is what gets you out of bed in the morning? And I was struggling to really find an answer to that. And the next question was something about purpose or what your goals are and things like that. And I thought of a concept, the idea of the difference between what gets you out of bed in the morning and what makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. And I think those are two different things. And I sort of looked at the things that I'm doing, and the things that sort of are getting me out of bed in the morning are I have to go to work, or I got to go get on a plane, or I have a to-do list with things to get done. I got to get on a phone call. Carrie Wee is sending me a Zoom link in 10 minutes. Whatever it is. Those are the things that get me out of bed, that are the things that's I don't want to use the word force, but to a certain extent force me out of bed. And I think that that's different than what makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. And I think right now, with all these things that I'm doing, none of them really are necessarily filling me with a purpose and making me feel like I really want to be doing this. I really want to, have this sort of experience in this time and be making this happen. It's not the thing.
I'm sorry. That's gonna be in the reel what you just did, because it was
not the thing.
It was the most authentic look on your face of what the F, not the thing. I am not doing the thing.
I'm not doing the thing, and
you're getting up to do a job, but it's not the thing.
Right, and I think that's been my question recently, and looking at entrepreneurship and all of that, and all the work that I am doing, because I'm doing great things, I'm doing fun things, I'm doing interesting and cool stuff, but I still have that feeling. And one of the sort of pieces of dialogue that I had recently was, part of the goal of Red Flags and many of the things that I've done are, financial motivation, right? That's the goal. The goal is to achieve a financial level so that I can do this other thing, or I can start this other business, or I can, focus on something else. And I've been sort of taking a few steps back and trying to look at, okay, well, what is the thing? What is, if I had the success that I wanted, or if I had all that money, what are the things that I would go do? And asking myself that question. And I always come back to that sort of arts and recreation space in Mammoth. I always talk about like artist residencies and things like that. And physical space that can be inhabited by the things that I'm interested in. Everything from cocktails and events and arts and dance and performance and all that stuff. And so I sort of sit and I ask myself, and I'm going, well, if that's the thing, to do my hand gestures again, if that's the thing, why don't you just go do that? Why do the other thing first to try and do that thing? Why don't you just do that thing? I'm probably sounding like a crazy person.
And what does that? What?
Hold on, let me go get my tinfoil hat.
Okay, and so what feeling comes around when you come to that thought? Like cut all the fat and just do that thing. What comes to mind? Because I have a lot of thoughts right now, actually.
Well, of course it's exciting, but I have the things that I have to do first. I have the other things. I have the to-do list. I have the checklist. But what I think the reason why it's an interesting conversation for us to have is because it's an opportunity to think introspectively and to say, okay, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a business owner, if you are a creative, what is the thing that you want to do? And is there any logic behind doing something else in order to do it, or just trying to do it? And how does that affect your mental health, your financial health, your relationships, your all of those things, and your time and what you're doing? Because I would make an argument that perhaps just, even if it's not the big grand version of what you have in your head, you always have to start small. So what is the right avenue? How do you determine that for yourself and all that?
Okay, I have many things to say.
Go.
Number one, the existential crises that you have been going through, like in and out of, since I've started to get to know you. It's very interesting watching you because I am 100% not in that era in my life, but I was.
Yeah.
I was, and it was very, very, very hard at the time. Hard for different reasons. Hard for my own reasons, not the same as yours necessarily. But now that I'm not in that space, let me go back. When I was in that space, the idea that I was wasting my time on things that were not what I wanted to live my life doing, it was very heavy. It was like, and I was actually doing it. I was like, I threw everything out the window to be a professional dancer. That was number one. I'm one of those people who threw it all to hell and just did it. And I pay the price now financially. Sorry, Bean. But when it comes to like what my heart wanted, I did it to the fullest extent that I think I could. So I can understand why you might feel that way. But watching you is very interesting because in your particular case, now a person who was doing A, B, and C to somehow avoid doing big plan instead, I think that's very different than you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there are people out there who are procrastinating doing A, B, and C when they should be doing D. And they should just dive into D, and they're scared of D. I don't think that's you. Personally, just by being an outside perspective, because I feel like even though maybe, I don't know if we use the word pedestal, that dream of like this space in Mammoth, I don't know if it's a pedestal. I think it might be like, dessert, not the meal. Maybe. Because I feel like your meal, like the meal of your life, the meat and potatoes of it, I kind of feel like, this is going to sound weird. Is this going to sound weird? I feel like you're in it in a way that's wonderful because the diversity means a lot to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, watching you from the outside, I feel like you're in it already, to be honest. Even if you can't see the label from inside the bottle a little bit.
I like that. That's a creative outlook.
I mean, I don't know, like I have years on you, and the one thing that I do look back and see that chapter, that last chapter that I left, what I realized after many years is that I was fucking in it, and I was so angst when I was in it. I was so an angsty person. I was like, I'm not doing it, or I'm not doing it the right way. I'm not doing it the best way. And actually I was walking it already, and we don't have the same journey, so it's not exactly the same. But that's what I see when I look at you, because I feel like you're living it in a way that is not necessarily when you were in your marketing job. Like, I could feel like you're like, this is not me. But like the idea that you drove all over the freaking place and then got on a plane and you feel like you never came back to Earth, I feel like that's you. And like, I get it. Like, shooting a bunch of, teenage girls having crazy looking faces on their face isn't necessarily the height of your artistic creation. So maybe that's part of it. But in a way, it's okay because you're only shooting them for 2 days, and then you get to go into something else. And that's not the end of your artistic creation, because that was only the 2 days on the weekend, and then the rest of the week you can dive into something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you did a little bit of the real estate stuff, and you can switch it up. I don't know. Like, I understand that though. Like, okay, why? What? How many pictures am I taking of these little girls? Yeah. Wait.
I think I really like your line of "you can't see the label from inside the bottle."
I got that from Scott Galloway, by the way, the podcaster I listen to all the time. He says that.
It's a good one. I think that's it's a good perspective, because it sort of forces you to accept what you're doing in your world and what's going on without trying to make it something greater, without trying to feel like it has to be this other thing, or it has to be this greater piece, or it has to be doing all of this other stuff for you. I think that part of it is actually, really interesting, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, and I think a lot of business owners would probably tell you that at some point in their careers, they lost sight of the label, or of the goal, or of the whatever.
Yeah.
And they were just churning. They were just doing the thing. They were just trying to get through whatever they needed to get through. And then they end up on the other side, right? And I brought this up in our conversations before, that whenever you talk to somebody about, how they got to where they got, any successful people, they'll usually tell you the very beginning, which is like, I was sitting on my porch one day and I saw a dog collar that looked like this, and I thought, I have a better idea for a dog collar that could actually look like that. And then a thing happened and
Yeah.
this and that. And now I have like $7 billion. And you're like, no, motherfucker. I want to hear about the part in the middle that you just like glossed over. That like you didn't. That's the part. That's
the part. Tell me about that part.
That's the piece that I'm trying to figure out for myself. I sat on the porch. Okay, I sat on the porch. I saw the dog collars. I've had that moment. I want to have the I have $7 billion moment. It's the middle part that I'm trying to ascertain from you is how you went from porch to $7 billion. And I think that part of the reason why that answer, you get that answer, is because to a certain extent, they don't even know. Is because because at some point you're just in it and you're just doing it, and it's not about the new dog collar or the $7 billion or whatever. It's just about churning through the actions of your daily life and whatever you're trying to do to get through it, and eventually you end up somewhere.
Okay, let's talk about purpose though. Like for me, it has changed so much because when you say the reason you get up versus what did you say? Purpose, why you get up?
Between what gets you up in the morning and what makes you want to get up in the morning.
It is now, for me today, the same thing. And it is growing our, I wouldn't say growing our family because we're not trying to have more kids, but like growing our wealth.
Yeah.
And then growing in the happiness of my child. Yeah. Oh, I have to wipe a butt. That's a good way to have a little moment. Okay, one second.
The happiness of my child. I need to wipe a butt.
Okay. I had a little thoughts while I was wiping a butt, by the way. That's so fun. Okay, so it's interesting because when I was younger, my purpose was farther pushed out to like 10,000 feet. And then now that I'm older, my purpose is like nearsighted, not farsighted.
Uh-huh.
So am I wrong when I say your purpose, you're looking farsighted?
I am looking
or not farsighted, far, not near.
I'm looking far, I would say.
You're into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's a dreamer mentality. And I feel like it also makes sense when you're an entrepreneur and you're the age that you are, you don't have a family as of yet. It makes complete sense that your dreams are far and you want to reach far for them. And so, and I'm not saying that you can be in a corporate job and also be a dreamer, but you're ladder climbing in that case. Where for you, you're not climbing a ladder. How would you characterize the climb, the journey? You know what I'm saying? If that goal is a big goal, far, and you have a lot of far goals, could you put that into a structure, like mental structure for me? Because it's not a like corporate ladder you're trying to climb. That is very clear.
Can you phrase it again with the connection to purpose?
Okay, so your purpose is not 10 feet from you. Your purpose, or the purpose that you're trying to grab onto, is a dreamer mentality. It's out in the world and it's far. It's like looking at a star. And you're imagining this big dream / goal / purpose that you're driving towards. And for you, it's segmented because you have goals in photography. You have goals in building your client base for your marketing business. You have this red flags thing that you sometimes have control over and sometimes you don't. You have this real estate goal that's kind of forming. You have a lifestyle goal of wanting to live it in a certain way, and you use your skill set in order to live it in a certain way. So I think we've talked about this before. if the lifestyle goal is on the forefront, then kind of lining up everything to give you the lifestyle that you want would maybe be one way of going about it. But if the goal is more focused on the success of a particular business, like we've talked about this so many times, like what shapes are coming, like which way are you pointing? Last year, you wanted to say yes to everything. This year, you wanted to be more curated with what you're spending your time with. I don't think this is a bad process at all. What is hard for me to do is watch you like angst over it a little, because I feel like, well, I mean, it's like you got to feel it like your own way, but
I think the angst is not, and I think this is the like greater question. There's an angst of, I would say, the future, right? There's the angst of like accomplishing those things and having that, that moment and getting there, right? I'm more talking about I guess I'm talking about the decision of what journey to take, what path to take. How do you and this is a greater question. This isn't necessarily a question for me, because I've already decided, or I've for all intents and purposes have been doing it this way. Deciding to do the thing that you want to have, and turn that and make that work as the business and all that. So like in my example, or even in your example, I'm going to use your example.
Okay.
If the dream, if the goal, if the thing was, I want to buy property. I want to be a landlord. I want to rent property. I want to own property. That's what I want to do. And you just did that. And you showed it, and you walked up to the bank, and you no money in hand, right? You haven't saved anything. You walk up to the bank and you got a loan, you bought a house, and you started doing that, and you worked, and that's what you did. Or you get a job at an office or whatever, and you make money, and you put parts of it, and you save parts of it, and you do that, and eventually, after you work that job long enough, you buy a piece of property, and now you can go do this thing over here. And then you can start to accumulate your property and do that thing. So mine is like, let's say, arts and recreation space in Mammoth Lakes. That's the dream. That's the goal. Well, I should move to Mammoth Lakes. I should go to Mammoth. I should start teaching dance at the gym. I should,
But do you feel like you should do that?
No, I'm not saying that. But if that's the thing, and I just want to do the thing, then that's what I should go do.
But that's why I'm saying I feel like Mammoth Lakes Center is your dessert.
And I don't disagree with you.
You don't disagree.
I don't disagree with you. But when it comes to if you weren't me and you weren't you, and you're starting at the beginning. You're sitting on the porch and you saw the dog collars. What do you think the best course of action is? Is it go do the dog collars? Or is it do something else so that you can pay to do the dog collars? And which one will you, and what do you think you'll find more purpose in?
When you say you don't disagree with me about the dessert, because what I'm saying to you is that this dream of doing this thing, I don't think that's going to satisfy you in the same way if you don't do all the other things first.
I think the concept is, with regard to me specifically, the concept of satisfaction is an irrelevant point because there's no satisfaction. It's my whole thing. My whole Martha Graham. Hello, hold on.
Did she have a quote?
Yes. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Divine satisfaction, a life force of creativity. Just show me the poem. Blessed unrest, Martha Graham. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready, Internet? Here we go. Are we ready, listeners?
This is it. Okay, give it to me.
There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable it is, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction, whatever, at any time. There is only a queer divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive than the others.
Okay, I have so many things to say right now. Number one, I'm assuming this speaks to you, this poem. This is everything. Oh my God. You've walked the earth for this poem. Okay, listen.
I have wanted to get the words divine dissatisfaction. Of all the tattoos I have ever wanted, the words divine dissatisfaction have been on the top of that list from day one.
Okay, listen. Number one, I know a couple of artists that are in this category, and they are geniuses, but they are, what's the word I'm looking for?
Miserable? Is that the word you're looking for?
Fucking miserable.
Yeah. Trust me, I get it.
I'm sorry. It needed it, Bean. I'm having a very, very good conversation, but I did not mean to do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bean. Okay. She spelled it. She's like, don't say it. Okay, listen. Here's my other thought. If I could like gather my thoughts here. I think that the purpose question that you have posed is more so like the idea of, do you just do all that stuff and then get married? Or do you just like, that's the person you want to be with at the end of the day, but you're not really ready for that life. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, what my point is that what you're doing on a daily basis right now versus Mammoth being that dream, I personally, and I cannot speak for you, but I can speak for the person watching you, witnessing you, is that I feel like that might be the end destination. The end of destination in this way that I'm thinking about it doesn't have the purpose that it would have if you didn't make it at the end of a journey. And I'm not saying it's the end of your entire life. I'm saying end of whatever journey you're going through. Like you might be ready for that in 5 years or a 1 year or 20 years. But I don't feel like necessarily it's necessarily now. What do you think about that? Because you told me all the reasons why you need to be in LA, and I know it's hard for you to be there sometimes because you're like, what am I doing here?
Well, yeah. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer because I think it's I do think it's somewhat impossible to be able to say without a shadow of a doubt that, oh man, I'm in the right place at the right time at any point. You know, it's there's no way of being able to say, oh yeah, no, I'm doing the right thing.
Well, because in a way you want to be everywhere, but the thing is that you have to have a root somewhere in American society because you have to live somewhere. Some people don't actually.
Sure.
I wouldn't say you have to. Some people don't. We've talked about that. So, okay, the other thing I want to say about that poem is, in a way, except for the complete miserable life that would create, I actually believe it in a different way, and I've actually thought about it a lot. Back when I was in my late 20s and 30s, when I was trying to figure out what kind of artist I was, which continued, I still am asking myself that question all the time because it keeps on changing, right? And what my therapist at the time said to me, and she was actually very like, even though she had square edges of being a doctor, like she could think in this way too. She's like, well, you're the only person who can create the art that you can create. So it's your responsibility to the entire community and to the world.
The great part of it.
To not, like if you stop, it's your responsibility not to stop.
Right.
And so I agree with that. It's our responsibility to keep that conduit open and to let whatever creativity is supposed to flow in and out of it. And sometimes it gets stopped and blocked and this and that. And we have to do what we can to like clear the pipes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yes, for sure, like I'm watching you having these questions, and it's very interesting to me because it has gotten so different to me over time. Like the reason why I can be very in my heart settled with taking a job that in the past would have made me feel really trapped. Like this job would have made me feel trapped in the past, 100%. There's a reason why I didn't take a full-time job for all this time.
Totally.
Number one, it's her school schedule that's holding me to this schedule. Number one, there's no wiggle around that anyway. So the moment that I had a kid and decided to not have her just homeschooled or like in world schooling, I made that choice. Are you okay? Will you be careful for mommy? My goodness. Yeah, I know. That probably hurt a lot. It's like she put her knee into like a Lego-ish type of thing.
Oh,
it's like a bead.
It's like stepping on Legos.
Yeah, it's terrible. So it's weird because I'm in kind of a construct that I never like would have asked for, but it creates like a freedom inside of a construct. What is wrong? You want me to get off the phone? So no, it kind of creates a little freedom for me mentally within like a box because stop it. You want to be in real trouble on my day off of my second job?
Of my second
job. It gives me a little freedom within that because it's kind of like when you eliminate some of the choices, it makes it easier to make choices. Like I don't have the choice to do anything. So within the construct of what I can do, what are my best options? And I found a really great option. And it gives me this regular paycheck that allows me to have like I'm sure you have that too now. You have a regular paycheck coming in from something.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just so glad that I did the life that I did because I would not be able to feel settled right now had I not done all that stuff. I know not everybody feels that way. I have plenty of friends who had kids in their 20s and they don't feel that way at all. They feel like they got everything they needed.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're not that dissimilar, but we're just in different parts of our lives.
Totally. And I love that. Love that.
Is there a job that would give you that feeling more? Like this is the job. I don't know.
I don't think there's a job that anybody could give me.
Yes. Agreed. I agree. Because you would have try to get that job already.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't think I do very well when I work, on somebody else's time all the time. I mean,
even if you were on that mountain, you would feel a little bit restrained, constrained by.
Right, and that's the grass. To bring it back around to grass is always greener on the other side of it. You know, that's where the grass is always greener. Because if the goal, if the dream, if the all of that is to have a facility.
Yeah.
Well, then I got to be at that facility. I'm not.
Agree.
I'm not going anywhere. That's where I'm going to be for quite a while. But there's no travel involved.
Even if you own like the best bar in the world.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. You're there.
Correct.
So, the grass is always fucking greener, people.
Look, we've had this conversation so much, and the way that I see you, the most version of happy, even though you're not there yet, is doing a little bit of everything, because the idea of picking one is just
nauseating.
Yeah. And so I think that maybe you just muddle through that feeling until it starts, until all the things start to separate out, like in a big, centrifuge.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Be nice to me, Mommy.
She wrote out, "Be nice to me, Mommy," and she's going to give me the note.
And 5 minutes.
And 5 more minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. We will be done in 4 minutes, I promise you.
3 minutes.
Okay.
Overall lesson for our listeners.
Noah doesn't know.
Noah doesn't know anything. And considering his life is basically lived by that Martha Graham poem, Carrie has like so many people before her mentioned that, man, that sucks. But it's finding your purpose. It's a good question. What gets you out of bed in the morning, and what makes you want to get out of bed in the morning? Those two things.
When they say, when you're looking for a piece of music, for a piece of choreography, and there's no restraint, and there's no constraint, and there's no rules, you can do whatever length, whatever genre, it's impossible to find a song. It's impossible to find a song.
Oh, that's improv. If you tell somebody to improvise, it's fucking impossible. But if you tell somebody to dance and their elbow has to stay connected to their knee,
yeah, they're going to come up with some crazy stuff.
And they can only stand on their left leg, it's easy.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is you've given yourself life. You're looking at your life, and you don't want constraints, but you want to figure it out. And this is why it's so hard, because you have zero boundaries around in your mind. I'm not saying you should give yourself physical boundaries.
You have zero boundaries.
Know what I'm saying?
Period.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is the boundary of being in school and us living here.
Oh, yeah.
I found 2 or 3 things that I really love to do, and people that I'm there with are really cool. And it's not stressful to me. You can a little. So this is great. I don't know if we got anywhere, but here we are.
And isn't that the whole point that I was making earlier? Isn't that what I was talking about this whole time? Oh,
so basically, Noah's having an existential crisis, and me and Amanda are just trying to get through the week. That's what is happening right now.
That's right,
We're just trying to survive.
Just trying to survive.
Just trying to get to Friday. That's all I'm asking for, my friends. Okay, Noah, this has been fun. Have fun on your next city. Ooh, New Orleans. Go get a beignet for me. I mean, seriously.
I will send a photo of beignet.
Ah, so good. This one's hot and sugary. God,
so
I
good.
Gluten.
Love gluten.
I love gluten. Okay, we did it. Peace out. Bye-bye.
I'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find Amanda Ritchie at Grounded in Flight on Instagram, and add Noah Doc on Instagram, as well as Red Flags app. And and me, Carrie Wee, you can find at wrapyourheadaroundsilks.com. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. We have so much more coming at you, including guests that are in this art world, that are blazing their way through new businesses, and just more banter from us. Thank you for listening. This is The Artist Entrepreneur.